Welcome back to what? Well, okay. Last one. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Broke Till Friday podcast. I'm Andres.
I'm Edward.
My name's Jay.
And yeah, make sure that if you're listening to this, if you're watching this on Spotify, make sure to rate it and make sure that when you put a review, that people can with similar interests can then see it when you review it. And if you're on YouTube, drop us a like, subscribe if you haven't already.
You can add reviews on Spotify now too.
Look at that.
So there you go.
Do that as well.
Casual Criminals. Better than
Like.
I don't know about that.
After you finish this.
To the Pornhub channel.
And make sure that you also follow the Instagram, Broke Till Friday Podcast on Instagram.
Yes.
If you want to send us any emails, broketillfridaypodcast@gmail.com. Suggestions, comments,
We also have a
concerns.
TikTok, Broke Till Friday
Podcast.
Oh, you do?
Broke Till Friday. It's just Broke Till Friday.
It's just Broke
We
Till
got the
Friday.
original.
We got the original Broke
We
Till
got the
Friday
original
TikTok.
Broke Till
That is a
Friday.
win,
That's
everyone.
us. That's us. We got a bunch of likes on one of our videos. I got a bunch of
Hell
messages
yeah.
from Alan that I've never opened
Awesome.
because I'm never on the.
Yeah. All right. That sounds
I
good.
just post.
And yeah, that pretty much does it for PR. Thank you, everybody.
Yes.
The ham's gonna be done in 42
standard
minutes,
thing.
so
yes,
that's
I got
that's how
42 minutes. Let's go.
And Ramon?
Actually, I got to take it out 10 minutes before that so I can put in the extra glazing.
Call
and put
your
it back
mom and do that. Okay, so
Ama.
Liver King is a fraud. For those of you who don't know,
Would that be?
Liver King is that one guy who goes primal. You ever
Oh,
seen
that
this guy?
guy.
Yeah, I see
Liver
him on
King.
TikTok.
That guy straight
So-
up eats the liver.
Yep. So he's like, so this is him with a huge piece of liver, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I'm all natural, blah blah, blah, right?
Shit, you'll be
Look,
a god.
okay, look. I know. Liver is considered nature's multivitamin because it has like every single type of vitamin.
Yeah.
And like that's like if you like
That's a
want to.
napkin? Sorry, napkin.
Oh, napkin.
Because it's picking my nose.
Yeah.
Pick my
He's
brain out.
digging for
You're
gold.
on the outside. What are you doing? This man. Thank you. Sorry. Continue.
With the grease. No. How do you call it? But uncooked liver looks the most. It's like the most disgusting type of
No,
meat.
it doesn't.
It looks
nice.
disgusting.
When you
bad.
cut it, it looks like.
Look at that
like
shit.
jelly. It looks
That
like
looks-
Oh,
jelly.
he's
look.
eating it raw too.
He literally cut it out of an animal like an hour before.
Oh.
right?
It looks good.
It
I
looks
think liver
so
looks good raw,
disgusting.
honestly.
So, you're
Like
like,
cooked,
it's
it's, like, fine.
it's sashimi.
It's sashimi.
Sushi.
Liver sashimi.
Honestly, no. So yeah. So he's basically he finally admitted that his stomach churning diet of raw liver and testicles was not the secret to his eye-popping physique. Yes, I've done steroids, and yes, I'm on steroids. He admitted late Thursday last week, days after his $11,000 a month habit was exposed. And
What's that? What's the $11,000 a month?
$11,000 a month of steroid injections.
shit.
This
No,
was
his-
3 injections a month. Yeah.
Oh, that's what it means. Oh, fuck.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was injecting steroids 3 times a day, dude.
But
Just kill people and get it off of their bodies. Like
Straight up
people have
just
natural steroids. Just
eat their liver, eat their thyroid. So
people
here's
have
the
natural
thing.
steroids, right?
So here's the thing, right? He literally has the classic signs of steroid abuse.
look at that.
You see his gut?
I wanna punch his guts.
The reason why you have like that, so he's like, oh, I have abs, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you know why his abs are all popping out like that?
Yeah.
They're popping out because his gut, they call it roid gut, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because your gut just turns big and your heart gets enlarged because steroids promote muscle growth.
Yeah.
What are the 2 muscles in your body that don't stop working? The heart and your intestines.
Yeah.
So even when he's not working out,
His
because
muscles are working
yes, his heart and his intestines do that, and that's why you see them. They'll be bloated, but they'll still have the 6-pack because it's the intestines pushing out.
To be fair
on
though,
his
not
innards.
always. Your brain's always working, but it's never growing off of steroids.
It's not a muscle. It's not a
Close
muscle.
enough. Close enough.
It is a gooey, pink, delicious thing, and it's not a muscle.
I want to bite
Close
it.
enough.
I want to bite his abs.
It's
Yeah.
close enough. So muscle. It's pink.
Punch
And
that shit.
and he's so obnoxious and stuff. Like he was literally always like, "Oh, you gotta be primal. You gotta listen to the ancestral
I know,
tenets.
it's fucking crazy.
If you
Yeah.
if you have your phone next to your balls all day, you're gonna die."
I
He
always
says.
thought I never took him serious. I thought he was just doing a gimmick or something.
And now we know he was.
Yeah.
Now we know he was.
Like
No, he was doing a gimmick for sure. That was a character that he was playing for everyone, but he was playing it and saying like, "Oh no, this is me."
No, yeah,
He
that's
was over
right.
the
Like
top.
he was playing it seriously. Like obvious. Like look, not to like burst the bubble or for anyone who like the 3 listeners that watch.
Santa
But-
Claus is not real.
Santa Claus is not real, and like all of these people that are like this, they're all fake. Like,
Well-
none of the people that act
Yeah.
like him are real. Like, I feel like
That's
that.
not a real person.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not a real
Not a
person.
real person.
Everyone
He's
that should be common knowledge. They act like they are. Like,
Influencers.
what's the other dumbass? Like the Nazi one,
Nazi one?
the golden one. He did the same thing. This
golden
motherfucker
Nazi?
do. Yeah, he
The
calls himself the
golden
golden one,
Nazi.
the golden Nazi. It's like the Indiana Jones.
The idol.
The idol, yeah.
melts off his
It's just
face.
the fucking Nazi.
It's just
Yeah.
Hitler with abs like that.
His little mustache and everything.
Yeah, like he was doing this shit too. Like he was
Huh.
he was like one of these like people that are like him. They're like, oh yeah, no, and because this all ties back into Nazism because. For Nazis, emasculation of like manhood or whatever,
That's one of
and
the
not
things
looking
you gotta
like this.
attack.
It's one of the things that you have to like, yeah, they need a reason for it, and they're like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, modernity is all that, return to
You want to look like
tradition shit.
Ubermensch.
Yeah, exactly. So like all these people like this, it's all a facade. It's all fake. Not to say that Liver King is a Nazi. Obviously, I don't know.
No.
But like this, it's all fake. It's all fake.
Yeah.
Like that's why it's easily adoptable by other people.
So here's the thing,
pretty real.
like he
Yeah.
does do exercise to get that body because if you just do steroids and do nothing, right?
You have
You're
a heart attack.
yeah, exactly. Straight up, you have a heart attack, you have roid gut without any of the muscles and stuff, right? And your testicles will shrink. But it's so funny the irony in that he's like, oh, you put your phone next to your balls all day. That's why I don't carry my phone on me. And it's like, well, what do your testicles look like with all
Yeah.
with 3 steroid injections a day?
Let me see your
Send
balls.
nudes.
Send
Send
your
nudes.
fucking
Show your
balls.
balls right
You
now.
don't even have to show your dick, just your balls.
Balls reveal.
ball
Straight up.
nudes. Ball nudes. Send the ball nudes.
And it's so funny because he was on the H3 podcast and he was like, oh, you gotta be manly and blah, blah, blah. And like Ethan was like messing with him because Ethan's like, but I'm lazy. Like, I don't want to run. He's like, well, then you're being subprimal. He's like, well, I like to play video games. Like, video games are subprimal. But, my kids get to play them 1 hour a day and stuff like he sounds really controlling to the point where he was like, oh, yeah, I've had CPS called on me. I gave my kids when they were young raw liver. And then when they wouldn't eat it, I told them, well, that's all you're going to have to eat. And I'm like, Jesus, like my Mexican parents did that. Not with raw liver, obviously,
Yeah, no,
but because
like
they couldn't
fucking
afford
beans
anything.
and fucking rice.
Exactly.
Like, yeah,
Like,
like
Mom, I don't want,
broke. You
I don't
can't
want
afford a lot
rice
of
and
shit.
beans.
Fucking chicken feet.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wrong chicken feet.
Yeah. Straight boiled, no
Boiled,
seasoning.
Yeah, no seasoning.
Boiled. But
Yeah.
yeah, like he was literally putting on a whole facade about like, yeah, and me and my wife and we do this, blah, blah, blah. And he's like that alpha bro kind of mindset. Like you gotta get up at 5 a.m., you gotta do a 3-hour workout, and then you gotta make sure that you're what's it called? It's not saving. You're I think saving your seed or whatever.
Yeah.
Do not spill your seed on the ground or and whatnot.
Ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's the saying.
Yeah,
right?
it's the same. Well, it's using it at all basically. Like
Conserve your seed. Conserve your seed.
that's like and it, obviously like none of this is real. So people who receive this message always misconstrued it, and that's how you get those incels that store their seed in like the
Yeah.
refrigerator or whatever the fuck. Like
And they're like, technically it didn't touch the ground, so I'm not going to hell. Woo! And it's like it's in a jar with My Little
To an
Pony.
extent that maybe if you stop jacking off, you become a little more motivated in some way, in some aspect, because you're not using.
it dies in your
wait.
inside your balls anyways.
Wait, so
No,
here's the
no.
thing. Here's the
Like-
thing. Here's the thing. So if you have an addiction to pornography and an addiction to jacking off,
Yeah.
that's completely different. If you're just like, I'm not even horny, I just need a dopamine hit. Dopamine and then it's gone, right?
Yeah, that's
completely
different, though.
That's
That's
completely
different.
different than when you're sitting there and you're in like, 8th grade class and then your English teacher bends over and you're like, I know she's 78, but she's wearing a low cut dress today, And then you got to go jack off in the bathroom. Not inspired by true events.
Definitely not.
But yeah,
Not endorsed by
go to
Friday
Friday
Podcast.
Podcast. Not endorsed. Jacking off to old Mrs. Smegley is not.
It's not endorsed.
Is not endorsed by Road to Friday Podcast. Smegley. It's not a real person, but
Yeah,
you,
no.
you get what I mean, right? How it's like
I've heard like.
as long as it doesn't impede in your life,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
fine. If you're
But like, here's the thing. At that point, it's
That's
not the
with
jacking
anything.
off that's the issue. That's never the issue. It's the addiction. The
Yes.
addiction itself is always the issue. Because you can get an addiction to like fucking eating,
Anything.
I don't know, McDonald's.
Right.
And then the addiction to McDonald's is the issue, but the consumption of McDonald's in and of itself is not the issue.
I'm saying,
exactly.
like,
It's not like
I've heard-
heroin.
I've
Yeah.
heard some guys
Everything in
supposedly
moderation.
Stop jacking off, and they know.
you could see the future.
his third-
like more motivation, more energy to do shit because they're no longer like quickly releasing that dopamine,
So,
like quick rewards. And
That's what I was gonna say.
His Reiki activated. His third eye
Yeah.
opened up.
Yeah. No, I think that their problem was just an attitude / motivational problem in
Yeah.
general more than it was the jacking off. The jacking off was a symptom of it.
Yeah.
You get me? So, you treat the symptoms, but they got to the root cause, which in the end they're like, start by treating the symptoms.
Like if the dude just stopped jacking off and didn't change anything else about his life,
He
like
would
no
not have
motor,
been happy, yeah.
nothing in his life would have changed. He would have just stopped jacking off. He would have found his dopamine hits in
Yeah.
other places. Like he might have eaten more.
That's why.
Well,
Or
so
in,
here's-
in other places.
Yeah.
In other places, maybe it could be better places that are like not better places, but like he's gonna seek his
More
dopamine
well balanced.
and
No,
other things. And
yes.
other things
But he
that
might
be-
not.
That might be proactive for him. In a
But he
better
might
way.
not. He might just get food addiction instead
Yeah.
of jacking off addiction. Like
that's what
without addressing the real root cause of why
Yeah.
he lacks motivation, why he finds it necessary to jack off all the time for that dopamine hit, nothing is going to change. Without addressing the reason why he's become addicted to jacking off, it doesn't matter if he stops. Like that's not going to change anything.
Yeah, but I think that he was like most likely that was the catalyst.
It's like
Yeah.
porn.
Worse.
Alleged steroid use, and
Yeah.
look at him. What's your proof of steroid use? Look at him.
Like I
I don't
think
think he'll feel it.
I think fucking I forgot what cause like I follow a couple doctors on YouTube, like actual doctors
Yes.
that like started YouTube channels like Dr. Mike and shit.
Mhm.
And I forgot who exactly. I'm not sure if it was Dr. Mike, but he went over Liver King, and he's like, "Yeah, no, this dude clearly has like
Clearly.
using steroids,
He's
like
in-
clearly, like
Almost 50 years old, and he looks like this. No,
yeah." And I was like, "Why do people believe him?"
He's 50 years old.
Yeah.
almost. He's
Like,
40 something. He's 40
Why do
something.
people believe that these people are like real? Like, cause like whether he's playing a character or not, he portrays it as real and he sells it
I
as
think
real.
people are
Because
very
he's doubled
gullible-
down.
I think people are very gullible to these characters because a lot of people grew up on like TV. I don't
Johnny
know,
Bravo.
Yeah,
that-
he's larger than life. He's
Yeah.
literally larger than life. That's why everyone believes him.
Yeah.
This character is like this because I seen this character once before.
Yeah.
It's like, so that's a believable. So he's real. To me,
Yeah.
you know?
And they're like, but he keeps saying on every single podcast that he's not lying. So why would he be
Yes.
lying to us? We've been trying to look for leaks, and now the leaks came out. But
Yeah.
you know, before that, it was that whole thing of like every single podcast he's been on, everyone's
I
like,
bet you
yeah,
people still believe
yeah.
him though. Like this
I
is not
don't
gonna do
think
much
so.
of a I think people
No,
still
because
are.
he admitted
It
it.
doesn't matter if he admits it or not. As long as he doubles down from here on out, like people are just gonna be like, okay,
No, but
Cognitive
and defend him.
He
Yeah,
said-
yeah. Like people are still defending Kanye.
that's true. That's
Like,
true. We'll get to that.
okay,
We'll get to that. We'll
in
get
a
to
bit.
well,
We'll get in a
let's
bit.
just finish up on
Like,
Liver King real quick.
Yeah, like it doesn't matter. Like as long as he doubles down and keeps saying like, yes, no, I don't take
Yeah.
steroids. That's all fake news. Blah 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 blah. His fans are gonna believe him because his fans are already believing him. Like if you're predisposed to believe someone and they're like, no, that's not real. We were talking about something else or it's out of context. Blah blah blah. Just make any excuse. His fans themselves are gonna believe him.
Well, because
And
he
people who
already
don't know-
admitted it. That's why he literally said, "Yes, I've done steroids. Yes, I'm on steroids." He admitted it in a video already.
Oh, like he released. it
Yeah,
and
yeah.
said, oh,
He
okay, okay,
himself
okay, yeah.
admitted
I thought it was like some
himself.
sort of leak or
No,
something.
no. So the leak was in all of him asking people, "Hey, I wanna grow my channel. I wanna do this. I wanna get 1 million subscribers within the year," which he did. And then he actually finally admitted it late Thursday. So yesterday, just yesterday, he finally admitted it. I don't know. I was sending you guys the memes of like it was exposed. It's like
Yeah,
Tuesday or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm assuming he's probably lost a lot of money. But he makes hundreds of millions of dollars off of his supplements. And the thing is,
Yeah.
he was misleading people, going, "You can have liver, and if you don't want to eat liver, buy these supplements instead, and then you'll look just like me." Like that's the
Yeah,
problem.
yeah.
He's a grifter.
Yeah,
That's the
he's a
problem.
grifter, yeah.
It's not that he's like. Exactly. It's not that he's like, "Oh, you got to be healthy." Okay, anyone can say that. But the fact is, like, you want to be healthy and look like me. Take these
wanna
supplements.
be me?
Work out. Don't put your phone next to your balls. God, I want to see his nuts so bad. Clip that. Clip
We need
that.
his nuts. We need his
Clip
nuts
that.
on the podcast.
Straight up, like it's gonna. It's just gonna look like this.
Yeah. Shrivels.
Shrivel up.
Where are your balls? And you, like,
What?
trying to go feel-
Are those peas?
Yeah, we should introduce him to Will Blenderfield, the guy who was like, "You got to slap your nuts" and stuff like that. He drank his own piss.
No.
You know the-
yes, him. And then there's that one fucking dude that was like that's like around in debate circles right now, and he's like, "Oh yes, never masturbate. Masturbation is it reduces your
Semen
cell count."
retention.
Yeah, yeah.
Semen retention. That's what it's
Semen
called.
retention.
I'm
Yes.
just yelling
yes.
out the open window. Semen retention. And then
No, it basically was just like
Yeah.
and there was like this raggedy like 90-year-old that probably hasn't come in his life.
yeah, he finished making semen in 19
Yep.
bickety too. Like
Well,
Yeah.
Something that I feel that sucks about because I admire like good body built like guys. They looks cool. Like I like.
they gotta be blonde, blue eyes, and little patch, little swastika.
Yeah.
But,
The Buddhist symbol of unity, you know.
what always like what I always think of is like you can't grow your dick, so you're gonna look all jacked, but your dick's probably gonna stay the same, so it's gonna look like you have a small dick.
I mean,
Steroid injections into your dick.
so actually, like, so here's the thing. You hear these things, right? I don't know if this is true.
Yeah.
Again, we're not medical professionals.
Yeah,
This is,
dude, you should
these-
not be taking
this
medical
is
advice
not
on this podcast.
Yeah, this is
like-
not medical advice. Again, this is not legal advice. This is not financial advice, right?
Mhm.
But if you're fat, apparently for every 20 pounds you lose, it's 1 inch of dick that you gain, right? But it's not really that you gain it. It's just the fat goes
the
away and makes it
perception.
looks
yeah, the
bigger.
perception.
Because it's not
dick to
hidden.
body ratio.
That's why
Yeah.
skinny dudes look like they got big cocks.
True.
I don't like how he's looking at me. I don't like how he's looking at me. Mom,
Man.
pick me up. I want to go home. I felt that in my soul, dude. Yeah, but in conclusion, he's a fraud, and
Yeah.
we kind of knew it
I
already.
was gonna say, who doesn't know? Like that's what I wanted to really get
Yeah.
at. Like I don't understand how. Like I figured like he was taking it seriously, right? He was being legitimate.
Yeah.
Like he was like presenting it as
He was like,
fact.
no way.
But
I'm not."
I don't understand how like the audience, like us, would ever not realize that it's fake. Like I assume that like Michael and me, we all assume like, oh yes, this dude is just like a joke, right? And we're
Mhm.
like looking at him because he's
Yeah,
a joke.
it's like he's
Like-
so up and out there. This
Yeah, yeah,
can't
yeah.
possibly be serious.
Yeah. And like, but no, the audience literally takes him seriously. He makes hundreds of millions of dollars, like you said, on the supplements. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know. I struggle to put
Cognitive
myself in a
dissonance, man.
mindset.
People just like they're like, no, this breaks my reality. I
My
don't wanna see
perception
it.
of
Yeah, my
reality.
perception.
I don't
Yeah,
wanna
yeah,
see
yeah.
it. Fuck that. That's scary.
Yeah.
And then just stay there, dude. It's like,
Yeah.
So speaking about cognitive dissonance, let's talk about the Republican Party and gladly accepting Nazis.
Yeah.
Okay, Elon Musk on Twitter. Let's start with that
Yeah,
part.
let's
That's
start
what
with Elon.
started.
Let's start with Elon. Yes, that was the descent into madness.
Yes.
Well,
Just,
okay,
let's start.
Revealing the lid.
Yes.
Yes.
So, what did Musk do this week, Edward? You're
Oh,
up to
me?
date.
Me? Okay. I'm up to date. I have I've had my dick on Elon since day one.
So,
So-
what did he do first? He unbanned
Unbanned Kanye West. No, dude. Like
Kanye West banned
Kanye
Speedrun.
West.
okay.
Couldn't last a week.
Straight
Like,
up.
okay, no. But for reals, like to start it off with, Elon basically unbanned all the Nazis.
Mhm.
Like, yes, we can go over how he unbanned Kanye, how he unbanned what's that other bitch? Donald Trump,
Mhm.
fucking
Donald
Nick,
Trump.
Nick Fuentes, like just
Mm-hmm.
open anti-Semite, just like legit, like and. This is thing where like I can't believe like Twitter politics because Nick Fuentes was the know nothing nobody that like
Mhm.
like in the broader like political thing, no one knew about him. Like he was
Mhm.
completely unknown. He did do the Charlottesville riot. He was like one of the organizers or whatever.
Yeah.
But you don't know the organizers of just a random like anti-Semitic rally. There's like 50
Yeah.
billion of them every day.
Yeah, you see anti-Semitic rally, you don't start picking people because you're like, it's John Smith,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, legit. It's all just generic white person
And
team.
then you hear Nick Fuentes, and you're like,
Hmm?
he's a Hispanic guy?
A
Excuse
Mexican?
me?
Yeah,
And then?
like and so like and now he's like up in like actual political spectrum, like fucking known anti-Semite,
Mhm.
legitimate he calls himself a Nazi. Like
Yeah.
like
he's like, I identify as a Nazi.
Yeah.
And then people are like, no, he's not that bad. You don't understand. He's like, no, I want the Jews to die.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
like,
He
no,
like
no, no,
doubles
no.
down on
no,
it.
no, it's not that.
And then, Hitler was a good guy, quote, by Kanye West.
Yeah.
2022.
But like even that's not as bad. Like there's like other lesser known that are even more hateful than Nick Fuentes that
Mhm.
that Elon Musk unbanned. Like right now when he rebanned Kanye West supposedly for the Nazi stuff,
Mhm.
at the same time, literally minutes later, he unbanned like basically like one of the fucking dragons or like what are they called?
The Grand Wizards.
Grand Wizards, yeah, fucking like he unbanned like one of those
KKK
motherfuckers.
Grand Wizards.
Yeah, like or someone at that type of level of anti-Semitism, like
Mhm.
legitimately just the most horrific type of people are just like coming out of the gutter works now that Elon took over. And you want to know, a lot of like leftists or progressives are getting banned now for like talking shit to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Straight up.
So like,
There was a comedian who tweeted just the picture of him bald, and then he got
Yeah,
banned. And it's like
yeah.
for harassment. It's like,
Yeah.
fuck you, little snowflake. Your feelings are hurt because you had
fucking,
to pay to get your hair
gotta
back.
get their safe space. Fucking
Elon Musk also has roid gut. I know I already put this picture up there before, but
Roids?
yeah, look.
yeah.
He was jacked.
Roy
No,
Gut.
no, no, no. Well, so look, roid
He
gut.
almost jacked.
There we go. Yeah.
Oh.
That picture. That's the last picture Kanye West posted before he got banned.
Yeah, and he was like, okay. So that's-
I
yeah.
honestly do believe him when Kanye says that he got banned for like this type of picture or like this picture because like literally like Elon is unbanning other anti-Semites like
Yeah.
Like, you know,
So you see that, right? How it's like
Yeah.
this huge thing. And there are other examples of roid gut. I mean, look, you see his abs are pushed on top because his intestines. And
oh, is
like-
that Joe Rogan?
that is Joe Rogan.
That's Joe Rogan.
And he says he always does say he's on steroids. He's open about it because he's like, well, testosterone levels are dipping after a certain time, so he gets human growth hormone (HGH). And this is like some more extreme versions of
Ugh.
roid gut. Horrifying.
Oh,
I
dude,
know.
that doesn't look like that.
How
That
are their
doesn't.
poops?
Yeah, legit.
Do they poop better?
The
Humongous.
bowel
Probably
movement,
not.
like, I feel like
Your-
they're
you say their
constantly
guts get bigger,
constipated.
right? So does that
Their
mean that
intestines are inflamed, basically. It's
Yeah.
not, remember, the hole doesn't get bigger. It's basically like this
The
is this.
outside.
Yeah. This is your intestine, and then the outside, and then it can actually
Oh,
Yeah.
restrict it.
No, I feel like they're even more constipated because that shit. That I mean, look, that shit doesn't even look
Oh.
like thick. That doesn't look like muscular. That looks like you got a pot belly, like you've
Yeah.
been malnourished.
Yeah. Think of it this way: when people do neck exercise and they get a bigger neck, they don't breathe better all of a sudden. You know,
Better.
I know. They don't breathe
Immediately unable to
better
breathe.
all of a sudden. You know, it's just like you see the strength in their neck and whatever. Like, you
How
know,
do you make your holes, your tubes bigger? Is
shoving bad dragon dildos in them.
Yeah,
That's the
legit.
only way. That's the only way.
Bad bunny.
Yeah.
You gotta get the triple XL thorny dragon dildos.
Exactly.
They're only
And then when
they're
it
only
comes out-
$45 a piece.
You're
like,
gonna
you know?
perforate your intestine.
2-day shipping. 2-day shipping. You know? Like,
Yeah, no, it's bad. But oh no, I think you can just throw in what are those fucking intestinal parasites in there so you can chew on the
the
sides of your
tapeworms?
intestinal
Tapeworms?
and
Tapeworms.
it'll grow inside your intestinal lining, and then you'll eventually have to get it out. But
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it grew so much and it was blocking your intestines, you can feel it crawling around in there. And you're like, that's my little
And
worm
it's really
boy.
small when you first have to incubate it. It's like a baby. It's like that big, and then it'll grow like.
I've seen videos of
That
people
long.
having surgery where like they take them out and they
Yeah.
open their fucking and it just it looks like spaghetti, dude.
Yeah.
It's,
I'm gonna
Oh,
eat ham.
shit.
I'm
spaghetti.
thinking about it. I'm like, do I got? We all probably got some kind of fucking parasite.
Well, no, because
Nah.
you would know.
Sushi?
Yes, but that's not the same kind.
Do you have
because
cats?
No, it's not the same kind, but it's still.
cats. I'm around cats, but I'm not
Yeah.
like touching their feces and then putting my face to it. But
True, true,
But
um,
they lick their feces.
Yeah, so if you
And
like,
then
if
their
they lick
body.
you, or yeah,
I don't let them lick my fucking face, dude.
No, no, but
dogs
if
or
you-
cats
They
or
lick your
nothing.
hands?
Yeah. but I don't start eating. I always wash my hands before I eat, right before I eat. Dude, with this COVID shit, I took it seriously, man. You know, I
True.
scratch my asshole and then I'm like,
COVID.
I sniff it, but then I wash my hands before I eat because that's disgusting. So
you gotta get the poop
Musk,
stash.
so Musk.
Yeah, yeah.
Musk on Twitter.
Musk is just being deranged on Twitter. Like he's just like he's basically just doing the same thing. Same thing everyone that has been into like following Musk has always known, which is just that he's like an anti-Semite. Like
Straight up, he's
straight
a
up
greedy billionaire. That's
greedy
it.
billionaire. Like
He's just
like
greedy,
everyone
narcissistic.
likes to say like, oh, SpaceX, that, but that's not how he made his money, right?
And
That all got funded through government loans.
And
His money got made off of apartheid Africa.
Yes.
He's always been
Emerald
racist.
mine.
Emerald mines. Who do you think was working those emerald mines? It was probably legitimately slaves, like
Yes.
black slaves in Africa,
Straight up.
working that mine. Like,
Billionaires are pieces of shit.
yes.
Yeah, because
Intrinsically.
intrinsically, you cannot
Sure.
get $1 billion without screwing over other people.
Yeah.
That's funny too, because you'll see them nowadays. Like, I mean, I know Mark Cuban's a good guy nowadays, right? But it's like, oh, Mark Cuban's giving away money and stuff like that. It's like, how do you think he got to those $1 billion in the first place? Because he was fucking ruthless and cutthroat to get there.
Yeah,
Nice people don't become billionaires.
My question
No.
is like, if you already have that much wealth, why do you need to keep getting more of it? Like, what's
Ego.
Yeah, if you're
is it
already a
addiction?
millionaire.
Is
Yeah,
that-
it's an
Ego,
addiction.
yes,
Yeah,
ego.
ego.
It's
Yeah.
Exact same thing.
ridiculous. Like, you have so much money, you can literally live chill for the rest of
Yes.
your goddamn life.
There are people like that though that you never hear of. Like, how many of those like? Do you know where the Rockefellers' kids are?
No.
because they just fucked off somewhere with their money and they're not worried about politics. But they're egomaniacs like
Well,
Elon Musk.
I wouldn't say they're not worried about politics.
They're doing shadowy stuff, and
Yeah,
who
yeah,
knows, right? I don't want to say who knows, who cares, but it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's not going to come out because they're not egomaniacs
Yeah,
like
they're not
on the
egomaniacs like
level of
Musk.
Musk, because he's so narcissistic that he's like me. You have to look at me. SpaceX, that was me. Was not him.
No,
And then he's like, Tesla, I'm the inventor of Tesla. I own Tesla. It's like, no, he did not invent it. He didn't name it. He was not the co-founder. He sued the actual original owners to then be
To
listed
edit
as
the
a
contract.
co-founder.
Oh.
Isn't that fucking nuts?
We need battery.
Charge the battery pack. The battery's fucking plugged in. What are you talking about?
All right. Well, you fix that. I'm gonna go do the ham.
You gonna go fuck the ham?
Yeah, I'm gonna go fuck the ham. True. We're barely getting to Kanye.
We'll finish up right now with
Yeast.
Kanye. So, yeah.
Yeasting these nuts.
So Kanye basically got unbanned from Twitter and then was quickly banned again. Tell us what the
Within
timeline
a
was like.
week.
Tell us what the timeline was
Okay,
like.
like okay.
Let's go forward a
So
little bit, actually.
first, he gets unbanned at the start of the week, right?
Let's go for it.
At the start of the 7 days.
Yeah.
He gets banned.
Yeah.
Or unbanned. Sorry. He gets on. Immediately, I'm back, and immediately starts dog whistling.
Now, what is dog whistling?
Dog whistling is basically the act of alluding to Nazi talking points or to other stuff, while not really trying to
Explicitly
say
saying
them.
them?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like a really common one. I was talking to your girlfriend about this the other time, or your fiance, sorry. Where
Explodes because it's very wrong.
a really common one is I think it's 4647.
Oh yeah.
People will post 4647, and that's a common dog whistle.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a anti-Semitic, anti-Jewish, well, same thing,
Yeah.
talking point used by Nazis to basically say, "Hey, 46 countries have kicked Jewish people out of them, have basically committed genocides against Jewish people.
Yeah.
Not all of them can be wrong, so let's make it 47. Let's make America the 47th country to do this."
Yeah.
That's a really common talking point. Usually on
What are
like
these
poll or
46
whatever.
countries besides Germany?
You know what's funny? You know what's actually funny? Most of them, the ones they're referring to, aren't even actually countries. They're like cities or towns or like really small places.
Yeah.
Like that's like the even more.
Coffee? Spill coffee or what?
I don't know. It smells. I'm making sure the ham isn't burning.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
And then?
It smells. Makes it smells.
Yeah. True. And so immediately Kanye started dog whistling, and he didn't just stay dog whistling on Twitter. He went on the news. He was like, yeah, the red media, and like he brought up like a picture from like 4chan or whatever the fuck, where it has like the names of like all the quote unquote Jewish people in Hollywood and stuff. And what's funny is that most of these people aren't even Jewish either. It's wrong on so many levels. First, there is a disproportionate amount of Jews in Hollywood, mainly because of Thomas Edison, who was anti-Semitic and tried to sue Jewish people out of existence for using a camera. Because Jewish people and Irish wanted to like create media. They wanted to create art with the camera, and Thomas Edison wouldn't let them. So the easiest way to escape a lawsuit back in the day was just to move to California because Thomas Edison was in New York.
Yep.
Really hard. Like the person will die of dysentery before they get to you.
Yeah. And we talked about that before too. Remember how it's like all the smart Jewish people bring over their skills and stuff like that because that's all they can carry with them. They can't carry physical things. So that's why again you get these whole like, oh, why are they so rich and they're like tailors and they're bankers? Like banking was not an actual job, and tailors like that's things that you can pass on to your sons and stuff that they can learn.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, it's just it's not. We got rich Jews in New York and in California because people didn't like them.
Yeah,
That's basically it.
And now
Yeah,
they control everything.
literally anti-Semites keep failing in such a way, or like are so racist that they end up letting like Jewish people succeed in certain areas by virtue of their anti-Semitism. Same thing that happened with like what we talked about the other day too, like the banks. The bankers, how a lot of Jewish people needed to go into accounting and finance because it was considered a dirty job before, and as a result, when banking became really important, and then but then like even that red media thing, most of them aren't actually Jewish. They're what they consider Jewish. You know how like in Germany, not all the people they labeled Jewish were actually Jewish.
Yeah,
they were like,
yeah.
oh, you're ideologically Jewish.
Yeah.
You're because it was really just a way for the Nazis to be like, oh, whoever we don't like is Jewish.
I mean, that's what you do. You get your enemy, and then you go, "Oh, we don't like them," and now they're our enemy. So if we don't like you, now you become the enemy. So you get that label of the enemy.
Yeah, legit. And so like a lot of these people, you know how they consider them Jewish? They're like, oh yeah, this dude's third cousin's wife that he divorced in 1976.
Yeah, and the
has a cousin.
grandmas, whatever, blah, blah.
Like doing like literally like the fucking what's the meme from It's Always Sunny where like the dude is like like, red string
pins
like, all,
and stuff. Yeah, conspiracy theory.
Look, this dude's going over here. This dude's going over here. This is why he's clearly Jewish. Like he's trying to prove one person to be Jewish. Like it's insane. If you were to try to like categorize anyone that way, everyone would be everything. I would be Irish because I have a third cousin that married an Irish person in like 1672.
Okay, I
Like
get you.
it's
Yeah, it makes no sense.
yeah, it makes absolutely no fucking sense. But yeah, and so like that was the dog whistle he put on the news. Like you can get like there's like a fucking I don't know if it was TMZ or something, but like it was on the news.
Think it's all a ruse. I think he's just playing a character, and he's doing it for exactly the reasons you would think.
What's the reasons?
Everybody's
Yeah.
talking about it.
So-
everybody got their eyes on what he's doing, and now he
But-
has a platform to talk.
He got banned
talk about
again.
things.
Yeah, he got banned.
Well, not that, but like he can post a video or do whatever he wants.
Where?
Wherever.
He's
like,
banned.
He's banned
He's banned on
everywhere. The only thing he has access to is Nick Fuentes' site, and that's all full of neo-Nazis.
Yeah.
That's
And-
all just Nazi. It's a Nazi social app, basically.
Again, he lost billions of dollars because of this. So
He
why
found
would
being
he
a
do
millionaire
this?
from a billionaire?
Yeah.
with billions of dollars.
From Nike. Remember
Yeah,
Nike cut
he
the
lost
deal?
at least 1.2 billion.
Yeah. He lost like 70% of his net worth because
Yeah.
of that
Look,
alone.
yeah.
So now they're not making
I
Yeezys.
understand that.
Like this makes no
he says fuck
sense.
shit. He says crazy things.
But it makes no sense.
It makes no sense. But at the same time,
It's just a clear mental
he-
breakdown.
he's acknowledging and he's talking about the establishment at the same time.
He's
That-
not.
that's the Nazi
he's
talking
not.
point. Those are the dog
not,
whistles.
Not the Nazi shit.
No, those are the dog whistles. The
Not
establishment.
the Nazi shit.
No, because it's one thing to go, the government is corrupt and we need to fight against
Yeah.
it, which is what AOC says. Even she was like, Biden, you're a piece of shit for union busting the rails.
Yeah, for
They
forced
just-
for forced contract.
Yeah, like they just want 7 days of paid sick leave a week.
Yeah.
Most
7
white
days of paid
yeah.
sick leave a week.
Sorry, 7 paid
I
sick
want no
days,
work.
1 week of sick days per year.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
And at first, all they wanted was unpaid time, but then they want paid time because it makes sense.
Yeah, if they have to fight for it, they want
most
the most.
Fortune 500 companies have 2 weeks paid sick leave
Yeah.
minimum. Most have that
European
already.
countries have even more.
Exactly.
European countries have like the third of the year off. or
Spain has
something.
like 2 months of paid sick leave, and again,
Yeah.
this is if you're actually sick. It's not just like I'm playing hokey or whatever. But this is like, it's for the laborers. They said this is the thing that they said. They said if they go on strike, it will be cataclysmic. Then how about you just fucking pay them?
Yeah,
it
the
sounds like
companies. It's the companies
it's
that
the companies
causing
that are being
cataclysm.
greedy.
So we would say that the companies are fucked and all
Yeah.
of it, all the money
No.
that he lost. Now he's reselling all this stuff as really cheap stuff.
But that's
To giving it
his.
to people.
That's his own fault for being again a Nazi and anti-Semitic.
It's like
he
it's
even
like saying-
said, "I can say anti-Semitic stuff," so he knew who he was saying.
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
say anti-Semitic stuff. They can't drop me, and then they drop him.
Yeah.
because he thought he had more power than he really
No,
did.
it's kind of like saying like
money talks.
Because like one of the things because I was watching the Tim Pool one. That's where he first went on after like all this stuff dropped, and because no one else would have him, he can only align himself with like racists and fascists and anti-Semites who don't want to openly admit that they're
All that,
fascists
yeah.
or all that. Like Tim Pool, one of the largest ones aside from like Alex Jones or something.
Yeah.
Had him on, and like he goes right up to the line, but he doesn't want to get demonetized off of YouTube, so then he'll back off. And the one time Tim Pool was like, "Well, I don't think all the people in Hollywood are Jewish," Kanye just got up and left. Like he didn't want any pushback on the
any of his
the
talking
Jews are bad.
points.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He didn't want, he wanted zero, absolutely nothing. It wasn't even really pushback. It was like, well, not all of them, right? Like there's got to be a
Yeah.
couple that aren't. And
from this is like from my perspective. I know what he's saying is like I know all the fucking crazy shit he said. I don't believe it. I don't like.
You don't agree with
I
it,
don't
yeah,
agree
yeah.
with it. I'm obviously
Yeah.
not. But I'm saying like he says other things like okay, if you think of it from this perspective, why the fuck would somebody who has a lot of money, has all this wealth, has stability, has companies, has money, blah blah blah, a bunch of shit.
Why he's saying
Why
crazy
would
stuff?
he just throw it all the shit out the window? Why would he do all that for?
Because
and it can't,
he's having a mental
He's having a mental
breakdown.
There's been a lot of rich people who have mental breakdowns and they still have their wealth.
But he doesn't have a person to go, hey, stop. Basically, there's no person that's gonna. Are you gonna tell
What do you mean,
Kanye
stop?
West? As in, like, you know how Britney Spears, she had her thing, and then they got her and committed and stuff like that, basically. And then who's gonna
She
commit?
was doing that because of the contract, and she was forced to be an artist. She wasn't. None of her stuff was
Well,
her stuff.
I know she wanted to have her own stuff, but she couldn't, and she
yeah.
wanted to have a kid and stuff like that. They forced her to get an abortion.
that's her
It's so
mental
sad.
breakdown.
I think it's more simple than
I-
that. I think it's way simpler. I just think that that like people in general, I feel it's just a standard Nazi talking points because look, here's the thing. Everyone that's a Nazi, the way that they'll make the facade is by alluding to populism, which is essentially the idea that like, oh, rich people are dickheads, and that's how they'll try to get across their Nazism. They'll be like, oh yes, there's this establishment, blah blah blah, but they'll never actually try to state directly who, and they'll just kind of allude to like, oh, like what Steven Crowder did. It's like, oh yeah, there's a lot of people with Jewish last names in the upper echelons of society. And, you know, that doesn't, it's not really important. We should have a conversation about why that is, but it's not really that important, you know. And that's how they'll go go about it, or they'll reference the establishment, but they'll never directly say who, because this is the right wing viewpoint. This is an intrinsic product of right wingism, or of the right wing of any country, where, yeah, every right wing place is, or every right wing platform is essentially, the end state of them is basically just Nazism. That's just kind of how it works.
So here's the thing. I will gladly bet anyone $1 million that the reason that they split up was because Kim was trying to get him help and he refused, and then he went fucking nuts.
That's an open secret.
No, but I'm saying I don't think I've heard that.
Kim said I tried to get him help.
Oh, that's
He
true.
didn't want to.
Just kidding. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you get me.
Yeah.
She literally tried to get him help. She was his wife, and they ended up divorcing, and now he has to pay her $200,000 a month. No, but
They're both egomaniacs that are fucking fucked.
I understand she's also an egomaniac,
Yeah.
but she was still trying to help him at the end of the day. I know it's all superficial.
She
I
does
know.
all that stuff.
I know.
You know, they're all.
There's nothing. She has no talent. I understand
Yes,
that.
yes.
She has no
She was the
talent.
good person in this
morally,
situation.
She's
Yeah.
equally as fucked as Kanye.
No.
Oh, no.
So you're saying her trying to be like, honey, you're having a mental breakdown. Let's get you some help. Is the same as I like Hitler. I'm a Nazi.
They're not the same. No,
Nowhere
in the
near the
broader
same.
She
context.
does it in secret. Okay.
No, no.
Have you heard of the stuff that's been going on with Balenciaga?
Yeah,
Well,
the
we know-
pedophile shit. Yeah, but that's not.
And there's child labor in all her
No,
products
the
and
pedophile
stuff.
No,
No.
specifically with Balenciaga. But that's a separate issue, because even Kanye West defended that. Kanye West was like
Yeah, they're both
on
fucked.
Alex
They're both
Jones
fucked.
like, oh yeah, everyone's talking about Balenciaga now, but no one wants to talk about pornography invading our society. Like,
Yeah,
pornography itself is also like being anti-pornography tends to also be a right-wing dog whistle, simply because, like I was saying earlier, Nazism, it kind of presupposes male emasculation, and so they want to really try to be against anything that's viewed as
here's a
demasculating someone.
Do you believe there will be a rise in nuts? And I mean a real rise, not a couple white dudes down in Florida.
Dude, they tried to
I'm talking
overthrow
about-
the government.
We already
No.
yeah, this is a current rise in Nazism.
They were there to kill senators.
You're talking about the
January
January
6th.
6th, yeah.
That was an
The rise of
insurrection.
Nazism
It
was
all
already
those
here.
It's
people were
happening.
Nazis.
Yes.
100%.
All of
Yes.
them were
As
conservative
in,
Nazis. None
look,
of them could have
they
been
were
conservative.
they were right-wing.
Conservatives are
Yes.
Nazis.
No,
That's-
there's okay.
Like,
okay,
at this
wait,
point,
wait.
conservatives. They're conservative. They
Yes.
believe what they're believing in. Okay, but I'm talking
The-
about new
I-
Nazis.
Dude, yes,
What-
no.
what Kanye
Conservatives
is-
are just secret Nazis. There is no way, like, Rush Limbaugh wasn't a Nazi. Like, behind closed doors,
Here,
they
let
were
me-
all Nazis.
Let me say it like this. There's people in the South that do exhibit racist traits that Nazis do have, right? Like the people that are Nazis. Okay.
So they're like Nazis.
So they're like Nazis, but if you go up to them and talk to them, hey, you're a Nazi, they're not gonna understand why.
They're never gonna
They're never
claim
gonna
it.
admit it. They're never gonna admit it.
But then there is also in the same place. There's
The people go, I am a proud
yes,
Nazi or
Nazis
whatever.
will
Yeah.
have swastikas in front of their
Yeah.
fucking house.
There's no difference between those two people.
There's a difference.
The,
no
the difference is
difference.
just
There's no
acknowledging.
Yeah, the
but
difference is acknowledgement. But at
Acknowledgement.
the end of the day, they'll still support the same policies that will, like, eviscerate all of us, that will
Yeah.
gut us in the street.
Yes.
Like, there's no
Yes.
effective difference between them in the way in their
yeah,
actions.
in the way they act.
Whether they admit it or not, they still want us all slit, our throats slit on the curb with their boot on our face.
For all
like,
intents,
that's all they care about.
Yeah, for all intents and purposes, they are the same.
A lot of
They will vote the same.
It's like saying that there's a difference between Russia and, like, Nazi Germany. There's not. They're both fascist nations.
Because I've been around these people, and I'm telling
Well,
you there's a
so-
difference because I know there's people. Okay,
Some people are just uneducated, and some people
Exactly.
are not Nazis.
Exactly.
I understand
But
that.
it doesn't matter at the end of the day.
But yeah, the problem is that it doesn't matter because when they vote for Republicans and the Republicans that are in power are the Nazis,
Yeah.
you can call these people whatever you want, right?
They
You
could
can
be
like,
dumb, they
I
could
just,
be-
I want to be conservative.
Yeah.
I want them to go back to the way it was. Well, the back to the way it
Traditionalist.
was is the
Yeah.
same sort of viewpoints that they had, but they don't teach that because, you know, why would you really want to say, hey, remember 1950s America? It was the same as Nazi Germany, but no one's going to admit that. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
That's why you didn't learn about, like, the Trail of Tears. You heard, like, yeah, the Indians
They had
said
to walk
thank
a
you,
couple
and they had to
miles,
walk
you know?
away, yeah?
Yeah, they just had a couple miles
Yeah,
to walk.
like-
you
like,
know,
it's
what
very-
was it?
It's
No,
very
like, yeah,
superficial, the
bad.
type of history that you learn, which is why people don't acknowledge these things, such as if I vote for, I'm voting with this guy because he says he wants to go back to traditional ways. I'm voting for this guy because he doesn't like the Jews, and it turns out that candidate is the same person for both of those people. Because that candidate will also go, I don't want abortion. That guy that is like I'm a Christian,
And you don't think
he'll vote for him.
candidate is just playing the strings, and
He
all
is.
of them are just trying
Yes.
to say what he's saying.
It
just
doesn't
to
matter
get
at the end of the day,
He does,
though,
he does.
because he still wants to implement those policies. Even
Yeah.
if he's just playing the strings,
Hmm.
he's implementing those
'Cause
policies.
they're trying to be on top.
Is Kanye doing to construct a fucking construct some way to overthrow something with Nazism?
He's forwarding
With
the
the
Nazi
fact that
ideology
he-
within the general public so that they openly admit, so
Yeah.
that they can, so that it's basically like things. So like the more it gets accepted in the public sphere, the less
Yes.
senators have to
Yes.
dog whistle. The
Yes.
less they have to dog whistle, the more they can openly be
He's
anti-Semitic.
a billionaire superstar. Again,
I'm
for,
sorry,
for
but like,
all
I can't feel
intents and
pity
purposes.
for someone who's being a Nazi and
Yeah.
can effectively buy his own bank.
Yes.
Like he literally went on the Alex Jones podcast talking
How
about
much
like, oh yeah,
influence?
it's only gonna cost me about $2 million to open my own bank. Like I'm sorry, I don't care that this fucking Nazi isn't getting service at like a bank run by someone who happens to be Jewish
Yeah.
or by something else. He can afford it to purchase his own fucking bank. Like I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, because again, the problem isn't just that he's going, oh yeah, I like Nazis, I like Hitler, and I'm a Nazi. The problem is that he's a billionaire superstar saying this.
Right.
This is the equivalent of The Rock saying something like that.
Just like Donald Trump said it.
Exactly.
yeah.
Different. It's like any other
Exactly.
person of influence that says
Yeah,
racist.
and
thing.
it's
been
bad
going on-
each time.
It's been going on since the beginning of media, dude.
Yeah, and it's
No,
and,
no.
and,
Not-
it's,
not-
and it's
I-
bad each time, and not
I wouldn't say
necessarily
since the
because
beginning of
especially after
media.
World War II, Nazis became the literal
Yes.
villains, so they weren't
Yes.
allowed to specifically state all this stuff. That's why they have the dog whistle. If these people could say it like outright, they would. Kanye is opening the breaches a little bit more, so it can
Yes.
be a little bit more
It's
anti-Semitic.
like it's a little more acceptable. It's a little more acceptable. It's a little more acceptable. When it should have been, hey, it's not acceptable at all. Stop
Here's
it.
the thing.
Like, think about
Who
this.
are the people saying it's a little more acceptable? Because obviously people,
Kanye.
The right-wing people.
Right-wing.
Right-wing people, I'm telling you, there's the stupid uneducated. They're not
Yes.
going to agree. Hey, I
They're-
believe in Nazis.
no, yeah,
Even
yeah.
if
They-
one
eventually they will.
No, they won't, dude. There's Americans. They're Americans to their heart and soul. Their concept
But-
of being an American is what it is.
But so here's the thing.
Nazis
But
that
they-
are actually like, I just hate black people. I
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
hate
Yeah.
minorities, and they're just fucking. They don't like it.
There are Southern people who say that without thinking that they're Nazis. That's the other thing.
yeah,
Where they
yeah.
go, oh boy, you don't belong around here. We want to keep this place white. And they vote for the right-wing people.
Yeah.
That's,
and they don't think they're
uneducated.
Nazis.
Yes.
Yeah, and they don't think they're Nazis. But that is
Yeah.
still Nazi
They're still-
talking
yeah,
points.
they're
That still
aligned
is
with-
being a Nazi.
Yeah, if as long as they're slightly leaning towards what Nazis like, the Nazis will use them to then get their policies enacted.
Whether or not they care about the label, their
So-
ideologies are aligned.
So
Yeah,
are
exactly.
So are minorities that think the same way, or are they also Nazis?
Yes. Unambiguously, they are. That's why we call Kanye a Nazi.
Eventually.
Are they uneducated?
They're still a Nazi. It doesn't matter. They're effectively
Because I
still a
think in order to be
Nazi.
a Nazi, you need to be aware that I am a
I-
Nazi,
okay,
I'm hateful, and I
I-
don't like black
No.
people.
How
They're
about this, how
open
about
about
this?
it.
In
I would say-
Nazi Germany, there were Jewish people that were Nazis.
Yeah. Yeah.
In Nazi Germany.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're still Nazis.
Yeah.
They
Just-
don't have,
just 'cause
they don't
you're-
have to openly admit to being Nazis.
Just 'cause
as long
you're
as their
So the
ideology.
German-
German Jews were
Nazis?
not safe. Yes.
These Jewish people were
Because they
Nazis.
wanted to be
Yes,
Nazis?
just like Ben Shapiro.
Yes.
Ben Shapiro
And
is
they're
a Jewish
stating- and
person.
They're stating it.
They're not stating it. They're dog whistling towards it. As long as
So
they're
how are they
ideologically,
Nazis?
because
They're
as long as their
following the
ideologies are aligned-
ideology.
Yeah, yeah.
As long as you follow the ideology, remember, it's not like you have to be exactly this. No, no, no.
Yeah.
There's a broad spectrum of ideologies, but they're following along the lines of the Nazi Party.
Yeah, yeah. The label matters less than their ideological inclinations.
Their
If-
actions.
If someone calls himself a Nazi and then votes right wing, okay, fine. You can objectively say these people are Nazis. They
100%.
call themselves Nazis.
Unequivocally.
If someone just
their
says, "Hey,
actions-
I kind of don't like black people and I kind of don't like Jews, so I'm gonna vote right wing," but I'm not a Nazi. I'm not like those people. It doesn't matter. They're still.
He's racist. He's just a racist.
It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. They're still voting for the Nazi
Yes,
party.
yes,
like, it's like the German saying. What is it? If there's 10 people at a table, a Nazi walks and sits down.
There are
and none of them
11
leave,
Nazis
There are
at-
now 11 Nazis at that table. Whether or not they call themselves Nazis is
Exactly.
irrelevant.
You get it, right? If you get it, right? Because someone goes, I accept Kanye as he is. That person is now a Nazi because they're supporting
But
the
how come there's
ideology.
People saying I accept Kanye, unless the people that are saying I accept Kanye as he is are the people that are already Nazis.
Exactly. They just
Yeah.
didn't know.
They already are.
Or they
admit
just
that they're
They don't know.
Nazis.
Stephen Crowder doesn't admit he's a Nazi, and he's playing defense for
And
Kanye.
he's a fucking.
Who's that?
It's
Steven
another
Crowder's
right-wing guy.
another right-wing politic person.
But again, that's the whole point of the
Why
term
is he-
dog
Hero,
whisperer.
Why
too.
is he agreeing that he said that though? Why?
Because he's a Nazi. He's a secret Nazi.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's a Nazi in the
'cause he-
closet, but
yes.
he's racist. He's
Yes.
Yes, he's racist.
He's racist. He's
anti-Semitic.
sexist. Anti-Semitic.
And that guy's platform, that guy's audience.
Yes, he's on
Yes,
YouTube.
yes.
The same. Okay. So I think-
Exactly.
So aren't the people that are listening to Kanye now, aren't they all, like I said, already fucked people to begin with? Because if people like you or any
So-
other people
so-
are listening to Kanye, they're like, what he's saying is fucked.
Yeah.
Any person would think that.
But
All
some
you have
people are dumb and they like who Kanye is,
Yes.
so they'll follow whatever he says.
You see this on TikTok. People being like, "Oh, but he made graduation." You know, he
Yeah.
made talking about his
dumb
music.
shit.
Regardless, that's
He-
what-
that- it's- Yeah, it's
Exactly.
regardless.
You
But
can-
this is what convinces them.
you
This
can
is how they go
differentiate
down
it.
the alt-right pipeline.
Yes, you can differentiate it, but they cannot.
It's called a pipeline. First, you're like, "Oh, I like Kanye, I like his music." Then he becomes a Nazi, and then you're like, "Well, you know, some of the things he's saying make sense, but I don't like his other things."
And then
you're
you
like,
slowly
more
come
and
to it.
more and more. Same
Yeah.
thing. That's the same thing I was talking about with like Liver King and stuff. Liver King, even if he specifically is not a Nazi and stuff like that, his type of like anti emasculation type of like rhetoric and stuff, like the really big fitness stuff, is the inception to a lot of like
Right-wing pipeline.
yeah.
Pipeline.
They're the inception point for a lot of these things. That's why you later find out that a lot of people like him, like the golden one, end up being actual Nazis and openly admitted to being Nazis, because it's a very easy way to get a lot of young men, a lot of incels, to go down more and more like fascistic, more and more like right wing talking points. First you find like Liver King, then you find like Ben Shapiro, then you find Steven Crowder, then you find Alex Jones, then you just find even more anti-Semitic people. Like then you find Nick Fuentes. Like then you're like, oh well, guess what? I guess the Nazis kind of had a point.
Exactly. Final thoughts, because I gotta pick up my car. Final thought. In conclusion, Michael, what do you think? Because I think you did explain it well. As long as they're supporting the ideology, they're gonna slowly start supporting more and more
Kanye's-
extreme things.
Kanye's fan base is people who knew him from his music from the beginning.
Yep.
People in the middle,
Yep.
which is where when he started to go into shit,
Mhm.
and then people now that are like racist.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so that's all his audience, right? That's his people.
Yeah. The people
The
he
people
reaches out
who-
to.
A lot of the people who follow him from the beginning, there'd be a good percentage of them that are following him just because he's Kanye. But I
Mhm.
feel like a lot of people that did listen to Kanye back then
Mhm.
don't agree with his political stances or what he's talking about now.
Yes.
I know a lot of people that
Yes.
Yeah.
like they don't agree either.
Mhm.
So that begs the question, like, why is he doing this? And you're
I-
saying
I
he's
w-
having a mental breakdown.
it-
You're saying he's having a mental breakdown.
All of the doctors that have been observing his behavior, classic symptoms of like
Yeah.
manic depression, where it's like he has episodes where he's like sad and stuff, and then he starts lashing out, or he goes manic, and he's like
You could-
this and
okay,
this and this and
okay,
this. And
But
this.
I
I'll
think
give
it's
you this,
separate.
I'll give you this. He might be having a mental breakdown, but even
Yes.
when people have mental breakdowns and
They get
the way
help.
that they do,
They get help.
and they do things, whatever they're doing while they're having that mental,
Mm.
they're doing it because they're still trying to do something. Whatever chaos is happening, in their
Yeah.
head, there's an objective. They're doing it for a reason.
And he's doing it for all the wrong reasons at
Yeah,
the
But
moment.
what are the
I
To be
do think-
anti-Semitic.
I understand what you say.
To execute all the Jews.
I
is
don't
basically
think
his
it's-
reason.
Yeah,
I don't think
I
it's
don't-
that extreme
Exactly.
either.
I don't think it started like that. I do think it started with his frustration towards the industry, but because of his mental illness, he's not thinking.
doesn't know how to
He's
No,
not
no,
thinking,
no,
and,
because
and
here's
it
the thing, here's
started
the
to
thing.
turn.
All the doctors that have been
Okay.
watching his behavior have also said that like
what I'm saying.
the
It's
manic
one of the
depression
two.
doesn't develop Nazi ideology. It
Yeah,
already
you
has
don't
to be
become
there.
racist overnight.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
It has
exactly.
to already be there.
Yes.
The mental illness just exposes what's already there.
So it's
Essentially.
either one of the two. That's the final thing I would say. I think it's either he is having a mental breakdown. He might have had some kind of like reasons behind it why he was trying. Maybe he was trying to execute it. Could have executed it all differently, but it came out really fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It's either that, or it's all an act, and there's a real like reason that he's doing all this for some other reason.
I don't think
we'll
there's
see.
it can't be an act considering
see.
he lost billions of dollars and considering like once you get the stain of
He doesn't
Nazism on
care.
you, it doesn't come off.
Yeah,
Like
because you can't just go, "Hi, just kidding."
yeah, haha, it was just a prank, bro.
Exactly.
Like, that's
Because
Nazism is not
because
something
the
that you
reason I
just
kinda
like.
think- the only reason I kind of
wash off.
that it's an act is because of like how much you would talk about like how influencers and artists, like musical artists, how they're all like under contract, and it's never a lot of them don't really are themselves. It's all under
An
their
act.
manager,
Yeah, yeah,
and they're being controlled by media, bigger media things, and so it's like our media, our music, our things we're seeing right now
Mhm.
in like pop, rap, and all that. It's not actually authentic. It's all from someone
Manufactured.
else.
Manufactured.
From someone else that we don't really truly know, and he would address that, and that's why I'm like, if he's addressing that, and that's a big issue, that's why he would talk about it a lot, and that's why around this time he would go
Man.
The issue is that that's all out in the open. That's just capitalism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But,
just
it
cap-
involves-
that's
but
how
it's- but
capitalism
it
works.
goes deep because people get killed, people get murdered.
And the thing is
like-
that fascism intrinsically relies on capitalism. Like
I
that's not going to go away. Just like everything he's saying, it's not going to make the issue go away.
I know. I believe that it's either one. I think it's one or the other. If it's an act, it's because he's doing it for. Everyone's talking about Kanye now, so now he's like, "Oh, what's he talking? What's his reason for talking?"
But he was already Kanye.
But
Kanye
that's the
Kanye-
point. No,
Kanye
hold on, hold on. Yes, that you're exactly
form of
right.
craziness,
He's
the
doing
already
it.
dropped.
He's doing it so that people are like, oh, what's he talking about? But he's doing that. His end goal is to make more people believe his ideology, to be more Nazis,
'Cause
to get
he's-
that more out in the
has
open, more
ego and
public,
stuff.
so that more people follow his ideology. You see, like he's just part of the standard, like what's been going on for a while. Like this, it's called like Black Hotepism or whatever. It's just Black Nazism. You know, it's a standard thing that's been happening for a long time. I just think like his mental illness allowed him to be groomed by like Candace Owens, which is a known Nazi.
That's broke so far.
We're broke till Friday. Goodbye, my friends. We'll see you next week. Now I'ma go and beat my meat. And we're broke till Friday. Bye, my friends. We'll see you next week. And now I'ma go and beat my meat. And we're broke till Friday.